Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year! Welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk Real Estate. I am your host, Dexter B. Jenkins. As you guys know, hopefully you guys had phenomenal Christmas and Kwanzaa, whatever you may celebrate. So we are glad that you are with us. And as you guys know, once a month we get together. You really answer the question, how do you use real estate as a wealth creation tool? And so what we do every month is we gather as a group here in Kent, Massachusetts, and then what we do is we bring in a real estate expert. Sometimes it's me, most times it's other people, because what I like to do is I like to pick other people's brains and then let y'all listen in. So that's how that flows. And so this month is no different. We have a person who is no stranger to our group. He has spoken on this show. This is Robert's second time here. Then he's also spoken at our summit the last 2 years. Actually, FYI, the third summit is on April 4th or 5th. It's actually going to be 2 days this year, and so it's going to be phenomenal. We got people coming in from all over to partake of that. So we'll talk more about that. So without further ado, I want you to welcome to the Let's Talk Real Estate stage, Robert L. Nichols.
Thank you, Dexter. Appreciate you.
What's up, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on again.
Nah. Rob is I like to call him a young OG. Meaning he's been in the game for 20 plus years at this point. 21 years.
Yep.
So he started pretty much right out of college, and so he is someone who I lean on. One of my mentors I lean on for a lot of different things, and so I've taken a part of his course. I'm actually one part of his masterminds now that we're in, and so he and I were talking back in the last year, and we were talking about really raising private money and how people who go to the next level, that's where they go. And so I said, you know what, I need to have you come on the show, really talk about the importance of private money, how to raise it, and so on and so forth. So for those who may not know Rob, what I want you to do, Robert, is when they hook you up over there. We're running. Y'all don't see this, but we're running around getting mic'd up and stuff like that. But you know what I want to do is have Rob talk about the importance of private money. So in my opinion, so as they're doing it, I'll talk you through a few things. There are a few types of money. There's number one, there's your money. That's number one. Then number two, there is what I call traditional money. So that's your bank that you go to, maybe your Santander credit union, so on and so forth. And then I talk about hard money, and then the last one is private money. So and you will use all four of those in your real estate activities. But what I found is that people who are really scale, they use other people's money, and so that's what I really wanted to have Rob talk about. So Rob, before we do that, look in that camera over there, let the folks know who don't know you. Tell them a little bit about yourself, your mama name, and all that type of stuff.
I'll give them the quick version. So Robert Nichols, born and raised in the city of Boston. I've been in real estate for, as Dexter said, 21 years, and it's been a great journey, guys. A lot of ups, obviously some downs, and the reality of the game is no matter what, you keep going, right? We learn from our mistakes. We get better from those mistakes. I started off buying my first multifamily when I was the young age of 23 years old. And then from there, I was able to, I'll grab this mic.
Use that.
All right, cool. So I jumped into real estate at the age of 23 years old and purchased my first multifamily. And then from there, I was able to learn how to buy, how to hold. And I jumped in and started working for a new construction company right after that. And so the new construction company really taught me how to develop, how to raise capital, and how to really start to understand how a house comes out of the ground so that, we can really get to know the game. And, it's something that a lot of folks never got to see. So early on, I really got a strong foundation, no pun intended, by being able to jump into that side of the business. And then my previous mentor was the founder of that company, who was also a finance guy.
Right.
And so he taught me commercial lending. He taught me fix and flipping. And he taught me how to do hard money and how to raise capital. So It's been a great journey. Obviously, I've done a lot over the years, and I'm just excited to be here and share my story.
None of that captured. So.
None of this captured.
That's what I love about live TV. Even my stuff wasn't captured either.
Nope, you're fine.
I'm good. No, Rob.
Have to say all that.
No, he ain't gonna say all that.
I'll do a much faster version. Born and raised in Dorchester. I got into real estate as a buy and hold investor early on.
Right.
Transitioned into new construction and development with a mentor who also taught me commercial financing.
Right.
And here we are today where I've done over 50 million worth of projects.
Right.
I funded another 125, actually close to 150 million in hard money loans now. And I'm out here just helping folks learn how to invest in real estate, learn how to raise capital, and learn how to build wealth and achieve financial freedom.
Right. All right. Are we good, y'all? All right.
All right.
That's why I
That's
love
live
live
TV.
TV. One of the things that one of my mentors many years ago taught us is you have to play the hand you're dealt.
Always.
And so we're very flexible. So, but I want to get into this thing of this private money thing, and so Rob, from your perspective, if someone who's out there and they really want to begin to scale their real estate portfolio. Now, one of the things we talk about, everyone has different goals. Some people want to build a massive portfolio. Some folks are just happy buying a property every other year and just using that for their retirement, whatever else. But I really want to talk about if people want to really scale and they really want to use other people's money, what are some of the first steps that they should do in order to get that done?
So the first thing I'm going to say, Dexter, is I agree with you totally. It starts with your goals.
Okay.
100%, right? Your goals are going to dictate how much capital you need to make your real estate dreams a reality.
Right.
So that's number one. So if you have a massive goal, then you need a massive raise,
capital.
right?
Okay.
Massive capital, massive
Okay.
raise in order to make that happen.
Right.
The second thing I'll say is, and you touched on this, capital raising is the skill that scales.
Okay.
The skill that
That's good.
scales. And so if you want to scale your business to new heights,
Right.
the first thing you need to do is really understand that, number one, you need to make contact. Make contact with as many folks as you can
Right.
who you know have some excess liquidity.
Right.
Even if it's in 401k accounts now.
Exactly.
There's all types of ways you can tap into money that's out there.
Now,
Yep.
but I'm gonna stop you right there because that's one of the things that I hear people talk about. I don't have the capital. Like, well, you sometimes we have it and don't know we have it.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
Correct. 401ks, IRAs, you can self-direct those.
Exactly.
And I have a guy that I can connect folks with who literally will put it in a vehicle that you can then go ahead and invest it in real estate.
Right.
And tax-free, because obviously you can't touch those gains in the short run.
Right.
But you can get that money back, and then once you hit the proper age based on whatever type of account you have, most of the time 59 and a half,
Right.
you can now tap into that money without any consequences.
Exactly.
So that's the lowest hanging fruit I say that's out there that people
Okay.
neglect to think about.
Right.
The second piece is obviously people who have some excess liquidity,
Right.
just sitting in a bank account doing nothing for them.
Right, exactly.
Money's a tool to be used to work for you. And so the thing that I think a lot of folks struggle with is they feel like when they're asking people to invest in their deals, they're begging for money.
Okay.
But in my opinion, it's a blessing because you're giving people an opportunity to put their money to work for them.
Right.
On the strength of your reputation, your work ethic, and your equity.
Right.
The everything that you're doing. You know what I mean? So you're
Exactly.
able to leverage your experience
Right.
to help them make money as opposed to looking at them like you're begging. You're like, hey,
Right.
nah, this is an opportunity for you
Right.
to jump in.
Right.
So
And I think that is Kendra and I with those you might, because we what we're doing is we're getting a national audience now. So some of you don't know who my wife's name is Kendra. So if I say Kendra, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
We were with a couple on Saturday, and we're mentoring them, and that was one of the things we were talking about is, tapping into private money, and because the wife kept saying. They weren't going after certain deals because they didn't have the money. And I said, what you have to do, I've learned some of this from you and other people too, is that there will never be enough money. You will never have enough money for real estate, but there is enough money out there.
I love
and
that.
so,
Yep.
so it's just a matter of you switching your mindset from, and this is something wealthy people do because this is also about real estate, but it's also about how do you think like a wealthy person, right, y'all? And it's, I'm saying y'all because we got a studio audience here, y'all, and y'all. But it's like thinking about wealthy people don't think about their own money. They think about the pools of money that's out there. And what we've been trained to do, think about is a lot of time, work, save, buy something.
right.
And,
Exactly.
and that's not how this game is, because you can do that, but it takes forever. it takes
Right.
a
We
long
don't-
time to do that, man.
Yeah, something I learned from Donahue Peebles. He's the black
Yes,
billionaire.
yes.
And I got to meet him a couple years ago at Black Real Estate Week, and he has said, you need to understand that you have a limited amount of time, and so
Right.
as a result of that, if you desire to build wealth and be wealthy, you need to scale up as big as you can, as fast as you can.
Right.
And he said that's the one thing he wished he knew earlier
Right.
in his career. And he's done very well for himself, right?
extremely well.
And a guy who's
Yeah.
achieved that level of success is saying that.
Yeah.
So what does that say to all of us?
Yeah.
And so I agree with you, Dexter. It's that abundance mindset
Yes.
that allows you to see beyond your own resources.
Right.
And see that there are definitely resources out there to make your dreams a reality,
Right.
to leverage that capital,
Right.
and really start to build a portfolio. And then, the other side to it is, in addition to, friends and family, we have gap lending, right?
Yeah.
So gap
I
lending,
wanna talk about that
we
too.
do
Go ahead.
that as
Yes.
well. And some of the folks in your network
Yeah,
and here
yeah.
have invested in our fund.
Yeah.
But we allow people to invest. We pool money together, and then we deploy that money to people who we
Exactly.
feel are worthy of it. So
Right.
there's a lot of different ways to raise the money out there,
Because
Yep.
I think going to back to what you said about Donahue Peoples, if you don't know who he is, you definitely should look him up. He is actually building as of now, I think he's building the largest skyscraper in New York. I think he's only going to be right up under, I think he said 9/11
Yeah.
towers. I think that what his goal is. And if you haven't read his book, he has 2 books that I've read.
Correct. Yep.
Around real estate development. The one that I think called The People's Way and something else. So
People's Principles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you Amazon them, you'll find them. And then I actually have his CDs, and so I was riding around in my car for a long time listening to him. And so, but he is someone who you definitely, if you're serious about growing in real estate, and actually he has some great YouTube interviews. If you guys are familiar with Earn Your Leisure, those brothers at all, they've interviewed us several times, and I've watched
Yes.
a couple of those YouTube interviews, and they've been phenomenal. And he's a wealth of information and knowledge. But that, to your point of this thing of, if you want to grow your real estate portfolio and your real estate business, that you've got to get into the business of raising capital, and that's a mindset. I know even for me, that's where Kendra and I are. That's proud. I'm not proud. It is our next level because we've used our money. We've used hard money. We've used traditional money, but we've never raised private money. In ourselves. And so, just to be transparent, I haven't really felt comfortable doing it. And so I said, let me get out here and start talking to people who are doing it on a higher level than we are. So we can get familiar with the process. So again, y'all, I'm letting y'all sit in on my conversation. So talk about, because you said a few things about you raising capital based off of the competence. You didn't say that, but this is what I heard. Off of your competence. So talk about the importance of you really being competent and knowing what you're doing, so that people can look at you as a person that they can lend money to.
I'm going to tell you guys a quick story, Dexter. Can I share a story?
Yeah, that's why you're
All
here,
right.
man. Talk.
Beautiful. So I'm going to tell you guys a story of John Hines. John Hines is a well-known real estate developer here in Boston. He built a $500 million skyscraper in 1999. At that time, that was crazy.
Unheard of, yeah.
That was unheard of. That was
Yeah.
one of the top
Yeah.
buildings to go up in Boston. And even the design of the building was a statement piece,
unique,
right?
yeah.
It was very unique. And so John, in order to get this done, he needed to raise the $500 million to do it. And so how did he do it, right? The first thing was he had to come up with a plan that he could believe in, that he can put in front of someone and say, look, I have this opportunity to build this beautiful tower, but here are the economics and here's why you should invest with me.
Right.
And so when he painted that picture and showed the investors that they would profit X amount by putting their money with him,
Right.
the most important thing they looked at next was what was his track record.
Right.
And so having that confidence and experience was key to him being able to raise the money.
Right.
But more importantly, the most, I guess for me, surprising fact about this whole story was the way that he raised the money was he got, I think it was 30% from a family office, which is a wealthy
Yes.
family that put up the down payment. He got another, I think, 20% from an insurance company that was running a
Yes.
pension plan. It was a
Okay.
combination of the two. And then he got the remaining, I think it was, 60% from a bank. And so in the end, how much money did John Hines actually put into the deal?
It sounds like none.
$0. $0. And so that really speaks.
So slow.
Yes.
So a $500 million
That's
project.
correct. Yes.
He put how much money in, class?
$0.
Zero money.
That's right.
Now
Of his
think
own
about
money.
this. So your projects aren't $500 million.
Not yet.
I'm
Like
just
that.
gonna let
That's
that
right.
sit. So this man raised how much? $500 million.
Yes.
And all we have to raise most of the time is, half a million, maybe. It just depends on the size of the project.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's just going back to that abundance mindset and him having a clear goal of what he wanted to accomplish, right? And then putting together a game plan to raise half a billion.
Half a billion.
It's billion. Let's say bigger. He raised $500 million. Wow.
Right. No money down. And it speaks to his competence, of course.
Exactly.
But it also shows you how much liquidity, how much money, how much resources are out there to really
Right.
support your growth as an entrepreneur. And really, I think a lot of times we get caught up in our own heads, making the excuse that I don't have enough and enough experience or enough money. The other side to it I've seen, there's a kid right now, he is 23 years old. He's doing 7 flips at the moment.
Right.
And so like, how is a kid who's 23 doing 7 flips? I can tell you this right now. Some of them he's doing with no money down.
Okay.
How? Partnerships.
Right.
He's partnering with people with money. He's partnering with other GCs who want to put money into the
Right.
deals. Some of the deals he has money into.
Right, right.
But he's able to leverage their capital and leverage those relationships to be able to do multiple deals at once.
Right.
Yeah, and so again, however you have to raise it, whether it's asking people for an opportunity to invest in your business,
Right.
or going out there and asking people to strategically partner with you or
Right.
JV structures.
Right.
There's many ways to raise capital, guys. I mean, I have another kid, 22 years old, did his first flip, Dexter. He met an investor at a meetup, and the investor and him built
Hit
a
it off.
bond
Yeah, they
over a
hit it
few
off.
months.
They hit it off.
And so when it came time to do his first project, his first flip that he found, actually at that same meetup, because
Right.
he was just out of college,
Right.
he went to this investor and they decided to partner up. He put
Okay.
no money into the deal.
Right.
The investor backed him 100%. They split the profits 50-50, and he was able to get into the
Right.
deal. And so I just share these as multiple examples. And time again, even my first project, I didn't put any money in. I was 23 years old.
You had no money either.
I didn't have any money either. So,
I had no money either.
but I found a way to get it done.
Right.
And so I can tell you that story quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was my ex-girlfriend's father. She's my ex, but he still lent me the money.
Right.
And my dad put in some money. I only needed to raise $9,000, so it wasn't a crazy raise. But back then,
You ain't had $9,000. You ain't have
right.
it, right? Yeah, you ain't have it.
It made all the difference at that time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's just-
But I think it's just a mindset of thinking that first of all there is money out there beside what you have to bring to the table, and I think that is a major mindset shift because we a lot of times, and this is going back to my conversation after the young lady on Saturday is what I'm thinking about. We come into an investing this investing field with a retail mindset when it comes to investing. So when a retail is what you have to bring to the table. Now, how much
Right.
I have for a down payment, so on and so forth. Whereas with this, it's like, okay, if I have a project now, I got to start looking at how can I fund this. So whether it's friends, family members, whatever else, then you mentioned some other things. I'm reading another book on private lending now, and they were talking about family offices. Family offices, for those of you who may not know what that is, that's for people who have, like Rockefellers and people like that, they have a family office in order to keep the money going in the family.
Right.
And so, you can go there, and the insurance companies, as we know, insurance companies get paid.
And they don't like to pay.
And they don't like to pay, but they like to get paid. And so there are probably trillions of dollars out there that's available
Yes.
for real estate transactions, just investing in business in general, but I'm obviously tonight we're talking real estate investing. There are trillions of dollars out there that's available if we go after it, And so I just think that's why this show is so important, because you really have to open up your mind to the possibilities, because I've looked at deals in times past, and I think one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn is this: find the deal first.
Yes.
One of our early mentors kept saying, "Find the deal, Dexter. Find the deal." And I'm like, "But I ain't got the money. Find the deal. I ain't got the money."
Find the deal and the money will find you.
Yeah, and he kept saying that, but it took
Yep.
me like 6 months, probably to a year, because we started doing this. We started going to some of these things, meetups and RIAs around 2016, and then we didn't do anything until like 2017. Really going into 2018, I was just sort of was checking things out, but I
Yep.
kept hearing, "Find the deal, find the deal, find the deal," and then I was like, "Well, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no." And then it finally clicked, like, okay, if you find the deal, Dexter, you will find the money. And so it really is this thing, guys. Your creativity kicks in when you find a deal.
Right.
It in a way that it doesn't kick in when you don't have.
That's true.
Boy, that's
I
I know it ain't Sunday, but I would be preaching that way.
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah,
Faith is
yeah,
action, right?
yeah,
Faith
yeah.
without works is dead.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
for things to move in your life, for God to move in your life, you
Right.
got to make the first move.
Correct.
You know, and it's the same in real estate. In
Yeah.
order for the resources to come to you, you've got to make that first
Yeah.
move and go out there and seek that deal and put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the other piece to it, Dexter, too, as you start to really grow your business and scale your business, something I've seen, a lot of people think they have to rely only on their strength.
Right.
But real estate is a team sport.
100%.
Your general contractor, your attorney, your insurance broker, everyone becomes a part of that team. You know, your lender, you guys are collectively a unit. And when you start to really build that chemistry and build the team around your business,
Right.
it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
Do you know how many investors my attorney connected me with who want to put money into my deals?
Right.
He said, hey, I trust because he sees everything.
yeah.
So he builds the trust, and now they trust him. So you're expanding your
Right.
network. But that's another piece to this game
Yeah.
that I think people don't realize. Once you start getting out there and doing some deals,
Right.
residually, you are now
Stuff finds
tapping
you in
in.
many respects.
That's right. A
Stuff
lot
yeah,
of stuff finds you.
Yeah.
Money finds you.
Yeah.
Deals will
Yeah.
find you.
Yeah.
I can tell you firsthand. You know, that's
Yeah.
really how my business has grown.
Yeah, and the deals are starting to come to us.
Yes.
The last two things that we have, well, one was an auction, but the last one that we're about to do, agent called me.
Yep.
You know, and so and then I get emails all the time. Hey, I got this going on, and so it does get out there. It gets to be to the point where stuff finds you. It's sowing and reaping as you throwing the seeds out there that you'll reap the harvest. But I also think about going about what we talk about all the time is now, and I've told you guys this a bunch of times, is that you have to begin to be found. You know, one of the guys who, whether you like him or not, his name is Deion Sanders. And one of his saying is, he said, "I ain't too hard to find.
That's
I
right.
ain't too hard to find." He's like, that dude's like everywhere, you know. And so when he's looking to build his program, recruits can find him really easy. And so it needs to be the same thing. You know, the couple we talked about on Saturday, I said this. I said one of your goals should be for the year 2025 is this: you have to be top of mind. So if they think of anything real estate, the first person they should think about is you.
That's
Got it?
right.
And so if that's not where you are right now, you know, you do things like this. You come to a meeting like this, you could take a picture on your phone. Hey, look, I'm hanging out with the incomparable, handsome two dark brothers, Robert Nichols and Dexter B. Jenkins, and put it on your social media. I'm getting a plug for
I love that word, man. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, they just put that up there. But I mean, over a period of time,
Yeah.
people will be like, oh yeah, Vanessa is in real, Odella's in real estate, or Barbara's in, you know, that's how that goes. You know, stuff will, to your point, stuff will begin to find you.
It happens. I mean, I had a
Yeah.
young brother on my podcast this week, Dexter, Stefan Facuri, and he literally started posting this year.
Right.
Every day he's getting deals. Almost
Right.
every day of the week,
Right.
people are sending him deals.
Right.
And he's an active investor, young in his 20s,
Right.
coming up, has done a few deals.
Right.
But I had the same experience when I first started posting back in 2017. I got so many deals
Right.
from wholesalers and other realtors that saw me on social media, and they say, "Hey, this guy's actively doing deals. Rob, you want this one? You want
Right.
this one?"
Exactly.
And it really, I mean, honestly, I probably had 5 or 6 deals from 2017 to 18 that I got just on social media.
Okay, right.
In those 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, from a handful of sources.
Yeah.
Yep.
So y'all got that right. Y'all got that out there in here. Start, post, and it's like it's all you're doing is documenting your journey.
That's right.
That's what you're doing. I mean, and Kendra and I are watching the show. I mean, y'all know who Chip and Joanna Gaines are from
Magnolia Homes.
Magnolia
HGTV.
Home, HGTV. Well, that was one of the things she said because this is what we do, guys, is we think other people's ice is colder than ours. Now, if y'all know what that means, meaning somebody better than you. That's what that means. Well, I mean, we tend to think that other people's ice is colder than ours, and it's like everybody started at the beginning. She said, well, when we started doing our show, they had done like a handful of deals.
Yep.
Handful of deals. And
got
now,
out.
and then next thing you know, they got they doing all type of stuff, and so it's like if you begin to document your journey. Hey, I'm over here in Hyde Park looking at product. Hey, I'm over at this meetup. Hey, and you begin to just put it out there consistently. Now you may not do it every week. I mean, 2 or 3 times a day. Like Rob is very consistent. I'm very consistent in mine. Now you may not do as much as we do, but if you post, and this is what I told the couple the other day. I said, if you post at least once a week for the whole year, how many posts is that a year?
52.
52. And then start compounding that out over 2 and 3 years. And so now when people see, oh yeah, that's the couple, oh yeah, that's this couple, yeah, that's this couple over here. And so it has to be that it's the consistency of you, because really this is, I want Robert to talk about this because he's a master at this. You're in the marketing business.
Correct.
100%. You're in the so talk about that because I think it ties into raising capital.
Yeah, no, that's a great point you bring up, Dexter. So I read a few books by a gentleman by the name of Dan Kennedy over the past few years.
Yeah, good
and
stuff.
one of his premises, this is like his mantra, the marketing is the business, guys.
Okay.
Once you learn how to invest in real estate, you learn how to manage a project, you learn how to raise capital. In order for you to scale any business, real estate included,
Right.
you've got to get out there and source deals and source money. And the best way to do that is to market who you are and the value you bring to other people who are part of your network.
Right.
And so to me, it's a fundamental piece of my strategy. I'm out here actively lending. I'm actively developing. And so if you look at what I post, I'm just sharing what I'm doing day in and day out to really empower people to see, all right, this is how he does it. I can apply some of this to my business, and then here's an opportunity for us to
Right.
work together.
Right.
And so the marketing is a huge piece
Yeah.
of growth, because nobody grows their business and makes massive gains and really has a high level of success in a bubble.
Right.
You can't stay in your own little bubble. It doesn't work that way. You can, but only you're hurting yourself.
Right.
And so I really encourage people to just take that leap of faith and get out there. It will only benefit you, especially if you're clear on where you want to go.
Right.
And you want to get to that next level.
Right. And I think in my opinion, and I'm interested in your opinion on this, there are a couple of camps on this when it comes to marketing. Then y'all got any questions out there? Any questions so far? No? Yeah? Okay. Grab your mic, and then I'll come to you in a second, my barber. The mic is right there. But there are people who have the opinion of you marketing, sort of lifestyle marketing, where you say, hey, I'm over here with my wife eating dinner, and I'm over here.
Yep.
And there are other folks who, just think that it's enough to just market your business. Now, I'm of the camp of, you ain't gonna never know I'm on vacation.
Yeah, until I'm back.
Yeah, I might come back to, I was over there, but you ain't gonna never see, I'm over here in Cancun with Pastor Kendra. No, you ain't gonna never know that. Or I'm over here, because a lot of times, this is my thought process. I'm like, who cares what you're eating for dinner? That's just me. But, there's that camp who think that people really want to see your full range.
It's very interesting you say that, Dexter. I think it's generational, too.
Okay.
Young folks, man, a lot of these,
Yeah.
I'll say 30 and under, they're into that. Like, they want to see the
Yeah.
food. They want to see where
Yeah,
you're at, what
yeah.
you're doing. They share their whole life on
Where
there,
you
their
hanging
ups
out
and
at.
the downs, right? For me, I'm thinking more, and this is just me, I don't want to get robbed. So if people know I'm on vacation, they know no one's at the house. I'm like, nah, you ain't coming to me. It ain't happening. Yeah, so I don't post. If I do post, by the time you see that post, I'm already home.
You back home, right? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's just how I think.
I'm
I
like
heard
that
too
too.
many
Yeah,
stories.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I was like,
We had cameras and everything, but
Yeah.
still.
If
Yep.
people be like, this is my current location. If somebody be like, oh, that's their current location. They're in Mexico. That means they ain't in Mattapan. they tipping in your house.
Correct.
You know?
So if you notice, it's primarily business.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I'll sprinkle something in that's personal. If it's a milestone, my
Okay.
kids graduated,
Right.
stuff like that, so my
Yeah.
family can celebrate with me.
Right.
But other than that, it's strictly business for me. That's just my personal approach.
Yeah, mine is like that.
Yep.
So mine is business and ministry. Those are two things you'll see me post. But I don't post a lot of things personal.
Right. Fitness too. I'll sprinkle some fitness in there too.
Yeah, that stuff like that. But I do know, because I think a lot of the people that we attract really are their late 30s and up, seem to be the tribe that I attract. And we are very private.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't want to put our business out there and so on and so forth. It was like, well, you got to put that off to the side to build your business, because it is in many respects brand awareness, and that's what you're raising when you're doing this. So
That's right.
Let's my Barbara, you have a question?
I do. I have a friend who's interested in buying a house, but she say, she says she can't buy in Boston because Boston is too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
What will you say to that person who's interested in buying? They have, am I on?
We're just getting the mic situated here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So-
we go.
It's one of them.
All right, we on now.
All
Can
right.
you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Like Verizon.
Okay, like I was saying, I have a friend who lives in Boston. She lives in Dorchester, and she's interested in buying a house. And so she said she can't afford to purchase a home in Boston because it's too expensive. You know,
Right.
like $650 and so forth and on. Do you have any? What can I tell this person? How would they go about? You know, like they're interested in purchasing their first home.
So a couple quick things.
Mm-hmm.
There are special programs for first-time home buyers. I'm assuming she wants to live in this property, correct?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So you have down payment assistance programs where there's grants right now for up to $50,000 towards the down payment in the city of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So she can go to the Boston Home Center website and look into that. And then you have a program called NACA, Neighborhood
Yeah, her
Assistance
husband used to work
Corporation
for that.
of America. Yeah, so she's familiar with it, and if she's already gone to those resources and still feels it's too expensive to buy in Boston, then I would say she's likely going to have to look at some alternative markets. Because I'll tell you, that's really the biggest crisis right now, and people don't really talk about it, but it's the affordability crisis.
Yeah.
That is the crisis facing
Huge.
the local communities where people who want to own a home can't because it's just the prices just aren't going to come back anytime soon. And a big part of that is as rates come down and it becomes more affordable, prices are actually going to go up.
It still drives it
So
up.
it's still going
Yeah,
to drive
it's
them up.
driving
So
it
I would
yeah.
say this, if she is going to buy a house and stay in there for at least 10 years, tell her to find a home that she can afford today, and she's almost guaranteed to have it appreciate over that 10-year period. In the history of our country, houses have never lost value over 10 years. So she may have to make some concessions, or she may have to look at a condo, which may not have been her ideal, but there are always options if she desires to own a piece of real estate.
Right.
And what's the difference between condo and a townhouse?
So some townhomes are actually classified as condos. Some are classified as single families. The ones that are classified as condos, the difference is going to be she's going to have to pay a condo fee. So that's going to add to her monthly expenses as well. Granted, it will cover her master insurance. It'll cover the water and any shared expenses, but it is going to add to that monthly cost.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hope that helps.
No question?
Yes.
No question.
This girlfriend just gave you the mic. You got a question? So talk about that. So we've talked a little bit about, because I think one of the things, or one of the opportunities I think that's out there when it comes to private money is us on the lending side, us
Yes.
being the lenders.
Correct.
So
Yes.
talk a little bit about that, because it's definitely something that I know we've had people in the room who have taken advantage of that. And there's other folks that I've been talking to about, hey, if you got some money that's sitting there that you want to deploy, because we're looking at all the different ways that we can use real estate to make income for ourselves. So you may not, and I know there's some people they don't want to flip, they don't want to buy it whole, but they got money and they want to put it out there. So talk
to
about
work.
the opportunity that's there for that.
Excellent, Dexter. So first off, for those of you who don't know and you're just getting into real estate, we call this the capital stack. The
Okay.
capital stack, if you want to sound cool to folks and sound like you know what you're talking about, start throwing that term around. They're like, all right, they know what they're doing out
Right.
here. So with that said, it basically is the stack of capital you need to close the deal. So whether it's your down payment that you save and invest, whether it's money you borrow and invest,
Right.
then you have money that may come from a bank. Sometimes the capital stack can include seller financing if the
Right.
seller gives you a loan to offset your down payment. And so where I'm involved in all of this is I'm a hard money lender. And so the hard money side, we pool money together. We lend it out to people. Typically, we'll lend about 70% of the after repair value,
Right.
or 80 to 85% of the purchase price.
Right.
And then I'm also involved in a gap fund where we will lend the 15%, 10%, 20% down payment as well. So these are two similar vehicles, but very different. And I'll tell you how they're similar and how they're different. They're similar in the sense that we are looking for investors to put their money into these different vehicles. One is more on the first lien position, so we're basically like the bank with the hard money.
Right.
We're replacing the bank. And then the other one is we become almost partners with them with the gap fund.
Right.
Now the payout is different. With hard money, if you invest in a hard money fund, you're looking to make anywhere from 9 to 10% on your money per year.
Right.
On the gap fund, you're looking to make anywhere from 15 to 20% in 4 to 6 months.
Right.
So technically, you can make anywhere from 30 to 40% over a year on that money
Right.
if the gap fund allows you to participate in more deals.
Right.
And so yes, there's a little bit more risk with the gap fund because we're not in the first position. We're not in like the same position as the bank, but we also grab additional collateral from the borrower to protect ourselves. So they're
Okay.
two different vehicles, but folks don't know about any of this stuff. And I think it's really important that we have these conversations, Dexter, because you can deploy money. It's backed by tangible assets, real estate. You can see the properties, you can touch them, and your money's relatively safe.
Right.
Because again, we're only lending up to a certain amount of the equity in the property anyway. So no matter what, we're due to get our money back when they finish the
Exactly.
project or refinance.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that is I've taken advantage of gap funding recently through you guys, and then
Yes.
we've had someone in the room even use their money as gap funds.
Right.
And then I was thinking, you know what? There are a number of people who have equity in their home that's sitting there, or
Not working
dollars,
for 'em.
and it's not working for them. And so one of the things we have to do, guys, is I heard this guy said this back end of last year. He said there are two things you can't brag about using if you're not using a high credit score and a lot of equity. And
Right.
so we have a lot of people, hey, I got a credit score of 750. I got a credit score. I'm like, all right. And though I got a lot of equity in my home, and so the analogy I use is if you had a bunch of money sitting in a bank account somewhere and you weren't using it, you would think that's unwise.
Yep. Same with the equity.
So it's the same with the equity. And-
Except I add one thing, Dexter.
Yeah.
The equity doesn't last. If the
True.
market turns,
Got it.
guess what happens? Your equity
Got
erodes,
it.
and they will quickly close those equity lines.
Exactly.
And a lot of folks who haven't been through a few
Yeah,
cycles don't
okay,
realize that.
right.
And so use it or lose it.
Yeah.
That's what I learned early on.
Okay.
When things shift in the economy. So it's better to put it to work in a vehicle you're comfortable with,
Right.
to have control over it while you still have it available to you.
Right. Yeah, because the couple that we had last month, they wanted to do it. I can say who they are, but anyway, they were talking about they have relatives who have bought homes in Dorchester, like in that by the courthouse at that area, that
Melville Park.
Melville Park.
Yes.
That they have paid off like millions of dollars just sitting there in equity. They're like, well, y'all need to use that. Well, because it's I think in a lot of respects, me and the people who look like you and I, we take pride in having paid off our house, and there is pride in that. But then you look at, are there ways that maybe I can use the equity that's in there to be able to continue to build wealth for myself and others? And so I think it's a mindset shift that you really have to, and this is just a whole nother thing with your risk tolerance and your comfort level with debt.
Right.
Yep. Which is huge
Yep.
in our community, because and then some of you, if you grown up maybe in a church or wherever, they say, well, you should be debt free and and then or the Bible says be the lender, not the borrower, and so we have all these, one of the things I'm talking to people about this year is if you're going to thrive, there has to be, you got to get rid of the conflicted thinking.
Absolutely. You got to get a clear mind.
Yeah,
Yep.
your thinking really has to be clear on some of these. I'm about to do a talk on it, and I'm doing a talk in another week or so on that, talking about you have to reconcile the two. Where I'm gonna have a philosophy as to how I'm gonna handle my money, and then and debt. There has to be a comfort level with that, because to your point, Robert Donahue Peoples, he didn't save up all his money.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
He didn't save billions of dollars to build a skyscraper. You just can't.
That's right. And the crazy thing is too, Dexter, and this is, I think, to the point of what we're talking about as far as leveraging capital,
Right.
leveraging tools and different things to grow your business. Once you get to that level where you're borrowing $100 million, even $50 million and
Right.
up, there's no more personal guarantees. You know why? Because the bank knows you can't pay it back.
Right.
If you default on the loan, it is what it is. They don't even look for a guarantee anymore. So it's just the nature of that business. Money becomes a tool. as you're looking to
Yeah.
grow and build your business, as opposed to something where it's a negative, like, oh, I have debt. There is such a thing as good debt.
Yeah.
Because if you're making more on that debt than it's costing you to have the debt,
Right.
that is a good
Then it's
investment.
good.
Then it's good. That's right. That's how you flip that switch.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I think now y'all know what a personal guarantee is, right? Does everybody know in here know the personal guarantee is? Okay, that mean that if you sign something, some papers, and something go wrong, you guaranteed it.
No matter what. Now imagine the bank trying to chase someone down for $1 billion. They're not getting it.
Yeah,
I mean,
$500 million.
You seen what happened with Trump many years
Yeah,
ago with
yeah.
those casinos.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if you look at the history there, I know he's a controversial figure
Yeah,
these days,
exactly.
but he definitely does
But
a
the
lot.
concept that he's used
Correct.
have worked.
And
Yeah.
so when he went got into trouble with the banks, he said, "What are you guys gonna do? You're either gonna take the buildings or you're gonna let me continue to operate and do what I do."
Right.
He's like, "And I'm willing to stay on board.
Right.
So if you want to take it, come and take it." They didn't take it. They let him
Yeah.
finish and let him get him stabilized, and then they worked it out, and he was able to sell him, and they figured it out. But
Yeah.
there was nothing they could do at
Right.
that level. They
Yeah.
need somebody who can operate it in a way that's gonna get them out of the hole.
Right. So what I'm hearing you saying is the higher up we go, the less money that we potentially would put in our own deals, but then there'll also be less ramification if things go south.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Because it's just too big, man. It's not. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, you're at that level, but you got to earn your way up to that.
Correct.
It's that status.
Yeah.
And that
yeah,
scale.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the people that we deal with, for the most part, you're raised like we're raised, where you honor your word and your
That's right.
commitments. And
Correct.
so that really comes into play when you're doing some of these things. But then now you're playing on a whole nother level where now obviously you're not trying to do things to do things illegally. And then also at that level, they're also vetting you big time too. So
Correct.
deals
Yep.
really have to make sense. But sometimes things, anybody who's been doing this long enough will tell you sometimes things go to the south.
Right. It happens. It's a part of the business.
It's a part of the business. So if things go south,
Is this when you have to have the exit strategy?
Multiple exits.
we've talked about this. Yeah,
Multiple.
you know, but this is
There
part
you
of this
go.
class. We've talked about the fact that you cannot just have one exit strategy in any deal. And so Robert is a master at this. I'm still getting there, but I've always talked to you guys about, any deal that I get involved, I'm thinking about, okay, can I fix it? Can I flip it? Do I hold it? Can I do short term, long term? You have to find ways to monetize it. So Rob, when he and I were talking about, he actually before he came on things, we were talking about condo conversions. There's just a number of ways that if anything can happen. COVID, March 2020, the whole world changed.
Right. What do you
COVID
do?
hits, and it's like, oh shoot, we were in the middle of two flips at the time. Like, dang, what? And you
had
talking
five.
about that? Yeah, you had some flips going to. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, what do I do? So we ended up selling one and keeping one, and but it was just like the world just flipped and changed off a virus.
Yep.
And so you have to have a level of flexibility, which will allow you to continue to be profitable. So
Always. Yeah. No, we have 5 flips. And initially, same thing. What do we do? And Boston shut us down. We had one in Boston. They shut us
Okay.
down for 2 months. Still paying the carrying costs. No one could work. That was a really, really tough time. I lost my plumber lost half his crew.
Right.
Electrician lost half his crew because they were paying him more money to stay home than to work. And we
Yeah.
lost our field operations manager. I got 4 kids, so my wife was back home with the kids. And guess who was in the truck? Everyday pickup truck, making his way from Gloucester down to Providence, Brockton, Boston, because they were spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a journey, but we got through it. And it
Right.
made us stronger. It made
Exactly.
us stronger. The Boston project, unfortunately, we took a loss on it because
Okay.
of that carrying cost.
Right.
But all the rest of them we did well on.
Right.
We were able to make a profit and kind of get through that. But
Right.
having that awareness of, got to find a way, and knowing that there were multiple exit strategies, and it
Right.
did make us now pivot to look at different exits,
Right.
when we do deals, to just
Right.
make sure no matter what, we have a profitable
Exactly.
path,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
completion.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to to your point, Vanessa, multiple exit strategy. Anytime you go on in, you got to be thinking that, because anything can happen. So
100%.
100%. So we've talked about private money. You raising it. You looking for it. What are some other things that we should be thinking about as we're talking private money?
So the biggest thing I'd say is, it's not just what you have in the bank, right? It's your home equity line of credit.
Right.
It's a Roth IRA. It's a 401k. Any money sitting idle with your name on it is money that you can leverage
Okay.
to make more money from it.
Okay.
And so I think a lot of people don't realize that, and it's just getting educated on how you need to tap into it.
Right.
But it can definitely be something that could be life changing for you
Right.
if you're sitting on a lot of cash. And it really, the thing I like about it, Dexter, is your risk tolerance will allow you to pick the right vehicle
Correct.
for you to be able to use to maximize the return on that capital. So you may not want to be in second position and have all these, extra pieces of collateral. You just kind of want to be the bank.
Right.
And so if you want to be the bank, that's what hard money is on the private side, except we're charging 12% to the borrower, right? We keep about 2% of that. You make 10% of that, and you're in first position, and it's usually a 1-year term, so you can get your money back within a year.
Exactly.
So I think just people getting educated on the vehicles available to them and looking at their risk tolerance and what matches,
Exactly.
where they want to be,
Right.
is ultimately where people need to make sure they just get knowledgeable about.
So it sounds like
Yep.
what you're saying is that there is a way for everybody to get in on some level.
That's right. There's a way for everyone to get on some, and I think people think you need a crazy amount of money.
Right.
I'd say the minimum is 5,000. You can put
Wow,
in, and
okay.
on some of the smaller gap deals,
Right.
hard money minimum you're looking at about probably 25,000
Okay.
if you want to jump into a hard money fund.
Right.
But that's still not a crazy threshold these days.
Exactly.
So just as little as 5 to 25, you're in the game and you're able to make money.
Right.
In your sleep.
Right.
Yep.
Vanessa, you had the mic up like you want to say so.
Yes, I have a question in regards to, you said line of equity, 401k, Roth IRAs. I know you're not a tax guy, but how does that, because when you take out money from those vehicles, you get taxed heavily
Right.
and penalized. So
Yes. So there's
Can
a
you talk
right way to
about
do it and a wrong way to do it.
But tell us both.
Right. I'll start with the wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do it is going and telling your company, the manager of your capital, the custodian of your capital, Fidelity Investments or
Right.
State Street, I want to withdraw money from my
Right.
401k. That's the wrong way to do
Wrong.
it. And just pull that money out and start playing with it. The right way to do it is to hire a tax accountant that is an expert at leveraging self-directed retirement funds.
Right.
I know a guy, Matt Sorensen, that's what he does.
Right.
And so Matt, he's an expert at this. So you would talk to him first, and then he would talk to whoever your custodian is, whatever company your money is with, and then he'd set up the vehicle for you to be able to take that money and direct it into a real estate transaction.
Right.
Money will be dispersed, money will be invested, and then Vanessa has to go right
goes back into that fund.
into that account,
Right.
tax deferred until the proper time when you can access. So you can earn, even the income. Yeah, so you don't get to,
You don't play with it.
You don't get to play with that money, unfortunately. Yeah, you don't get to.
it causes your money to grow.
It causes your money to grow much faster.
Much
and there's
faster.
stories where
Yeah.
people have like 10x their retirement savings through some of these vehicles,
Yes.
investing with different real estate groups.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I want to have at our next summit because I know a little bit just to be dangerous about self-directed IRAs because I have one through Equity Trusts, who one of the companies actually I had his name Equity Trusts, who I have mine through. But I have heard stories of folks because and really when you have your money in IRAs and 401ks, you don't really get a chance to direct where the money goes and so on and
That's
so
right.
forth. So a self-directed, check out the word, self-directed.
Correct.
You
Yep.
self is directing it, and so you're directing it into. So Rob comes to you with a deal. Hey, I got a 6-unit over here that I'm buying and whatever else. You can use your self-directed IRA to help him fund it, and then when the profits come back off his deal, it goes back into your IRA. And so now, to your point, there's no taxes on it, and it's growing a lot faster than it would because most of us, and me included. When we look at our 401k, you have no clue. You just look at it. Matter of fact, you don't even look at it. Most of the time, it's just like it goes into some drawer, and you're like, okay, I'm getting whatever else. But you have no clue as to how it's working. So these vehicles, in a lot of respect, allows you to take control of your retirement.
Right. Yep.
So
Exactly.
If I'm not over.
No, 100%, Dexter.
Yeah.
And that's really where, just again, educating yourselves
Yeah.
on what's out there. That's what it comes down to, because there's so much out there to really help you turn your money into more money, get with the right people. And you guys coming to places like this and speaking with Dexter, you guys are ahead of the curve, and that's an awesome thing I love to see because too many of our people coming up did not have access to this. The financial literacy pieces, environments where people are talking about money, talking about how to build wealth, talking about real estate. I didn't have this coming up, and that's a big reason why I participate in these events and on these shows, and I share on social media
Mm-hmm.
because I truly believe that this is the way collectively for us to elevate, you know,
Yeah.
and really do well and do good.
exactly.
Yep, me sharing this doesn't hurt me. It
At
only
all.
helps us all.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to have conversations like this with you and myself
Mm-hmm.
and everyone in the room because you guys, the more you learn, you're gonna bring a diversity of perspective and maybe see something I might not have seen.
Correct.
As well, you know, as you guys continue to raise your level. So, no, I definitely appreciate you doing this and appreciate you having me on.
No. I just think it's something that, you know, I mean, a lot of our parents did think, but they didn't explain to us a lot of things. You know, like my dad bought property, but he never really sat down with me and said, "Hey, Dexter, you should do X, Y, Z strategically." And I
Yes.
think the more strategically we could think, so a lot of times, maybe we've inherited things, didn't know what to do with them.
I had a call on the way here.
Yeah, you get.
Literally that
Yeah.
I've been getting those calls a lot.
Yeah,
Dexter.
talk about it.
So I had a young brother hit me up on Instagram. He saw one of my posts. He's like,
Yeah.
"My father died back in November. He left me this house. It's worth about $900,000.
Wow.
He owes $100,000 on it. You know, it is all that's left.
So I got 800,000 equity.
800,000 equity, and I don't know what to do, but I
know
want
what to
to. I
do.
want to expand. I want to
Right.
build. So we had a nice conversation, and I told him, I said, your parents really set you up for success.
100%.
And he didn't really realize it.
Right.
You know, until I said, he's like, really? I said, dude, you got 800K in equity, and I told him a quick story. So
Right.
another story similar to that. Cape Verdean family in Cambridge. Their parents had bought a 6-family probably 40 years ago.
God. In Cambridge?
In Cambridge.
Lord have mercy.
The kids became of age. The dad passed. The mom is still alive. And they ended up selling, condo went out and sold 4 units and kept 2.
Okay.
They did that, I think, in the early 2000s. Fast forward to 2024 when they reached out to me because they were looking to do a flip. Both of those units they own free and clear. They were worth $800,000 each.
Okay.
So
1.6
1.6 million in just pure equity.
Right.
That's pure equity. So they wanted to do a flip. They're like, Rob, we don't have the money to put down. Can we use this? I said, man, I just need one of those. I don't even need all of it.
Which let me think about it.
I said, yeah, what do you need?
Yeah, let me
And
think
so
about it. Yeah.
they basically are now doing a flip, right? They bought a single family. They're going to flip that single family. They use the equity, didn't put any money up.
Right.
And so now when that property sells, they're going to pay off, you know, the $400,000
Exactly,
loan
yeah,
they have,
exactly.
keep the profit, and then they can do it again.
keep it moving.
And again, and I shared that story with this young brother so that he understood, like, you can do exactly the same thing. So for
Correct.
him, he wants to expand the property. So he wants to turn it from a 2 to a 4.
Okay.
And then he'll
Nice.
use the equity to build the additional 2, sell those off. He's going to own the front free and clear, and then look to
Wow.
build his portfolio from there. But that's the power of, you know, understanding how to
Yes,
leverage it
yes,
that we didn't
yes,
get. We didn't
yeah.
get that, you know, from our parents. They
Exactly.
knew the right ways to do, but they didn't know why.
They
And so now,
they knew to buy.
right, they knew to buy.
They knew
and-
to buy. I mean,
yep.
ownership, because I'm dealing with a woman in our church, and she said, I can't get my kids to buy property. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Right.
Because our generation, it was just like a natural progression of work,
Yes.
buy property. That
That's
was
right.
just what we did. And so, you know, and maybe because of prices, whatever else, but it's just like in many respects, but it was they had an ownership mentality.
Yes.
And now they didn't necessarily didn't know the other strategies to really grow it and build it to the level that we're talking about. But they just had that mindset, you know. So
Correct. Yep.
yeah.
Nope, that's it, Dexter.
Oh,
So
my
yes,
goodness.
so I'm seeing a lot more of those stories.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there are a lot of younger folks who are
Right.
coming into these situations and they need that help.
Correct.
They need that support. And you know, that's something that, you know, my team and I can help with. We
Yeah.
can kind of look at your situation and let you know what you have
Right.
access to or what the best route for you to take relative to your financial goals
Exactly.
and wealth creation goals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it is everyone's goal is going to be different.
Right.
You know, but I think it's the strategy, you know, thinking strategically of, you know, and many of you here and those of you watching out there, you know, you guys you consider yourself Christians or believers or whatever, kingdom people, you know, whatever you want to say. And the Bible talked about you leaving an inheritance for your children's children. Well, that takes strategy. You know, that's
right.
how do you pass things along strategically? You know, I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago. Actually, I was doing a podcast. Yes, last week, and I said what I said was it's not only enough to buy. I said we got to maintain, and then last we got to pass it on.
That's right. Yep.
Because
Yep.
so sometimes it's easy to get it, but keeping it.
It's work and it's active. Real estate investing is active.
Yes,
It isn't
yes.
a passive activity.
It's not.
And I think
It's
a lot
not.
of people out there believe that, oh yeah, set it and forget it like the microwave.
It ain't still set and forget it.
Right,
No.
it's not the microwave,
No,
and
it's
that's
not
what,
that.
especially the younger folks. And this is really something that I have to kind of break that mindset. Right, this is an active investment where you need to ensure that you understand how to acquire it. You got a strategy for acquisition.
Right.
You got a strategy for management and stabilization.
Correct.
And you got a strategy to make sure you can get to your exit. And if that exit is a buy and hold, property
Right.
management companies. If your exit's a fix and flip, you better make sure you got the right contractor,
Right.
project managers.
Right.
And those are really the pieces of the puzzle that if you're watching YouTube real quick, you don't see, you see the before and the after, or HGTV. You don't see the middle. And that's really where the money's made, and that's where it is an active investment.
Yeah.
You hear the
Yeah.
term passive income, but I don't use that term in
No,
real estate. It is
no.
very active income
Yeah.
if you want to build your portfolio for
I call it
success.
semi-passive.
Semi-passive. There you go.
Semi-passive.
Well said.
But I've never. I don't think it's to your point. It's a set it and forget it. There's always at least on a minimum a management component to it.
Correct. And I'll be honest with you, Dexter, that's one of the reasons I love the lending, the private money, the hard money. That is true passive income. It's active for me because I got to manage the deals, but for the folks who put money in,
Listen.
that is true passive income.
Well, the think about what you said, and then we had the same experience. The one entity who still got paid throughout COVID was who?
The lender.
The money people.
That's right.
Our hard money lender. They weren't like, well, we know. Oh, you got 2 flips going. It wasn't. They ain't send us. They ain't my mama. They ain't send us no. We understand nothing.
Yep.
They still looking for that. I think at that point we had about $4,000 going out to those 2 projects, which is not. I guess it's depending on your mindset, but we still have $4,000 going out to them, and you had probably a lot more than we did because you had 5 flips going at that time, and so that's why I think for some people that's why I want to have you on, because I think if you don't want to have anything to do with all this fixing and flipping, buying and holding, if you have capital, Rob said, if you have 5,000 to 25,000 that you can get your hands on, that you can deploy, it can be almost passive for you.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. That's as close to passive as I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And even more so than the stock market, because the stock market, you're checking, you're watching. If you're putting it in there, it's like it's like riding a roller coaster, but you don't know where it's gonna go. You're holding on for dear life. I hope it goes the right way. And when it doesn't, your heart drops. You know what I mean? Like, please come back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you want to get out. Then you get out. Guess what?
You
Spikes
lost.
up.
And now yes. And so
So a lot of folks have had that experience,
Yeah.
and that's really where real estate. It's it's a stable return. It's a tangible asset, as I said earlier.
Right.
And you're not really set up for failure.
Right.
At the end of the day, the equity is the equity.
Right.
And the other thing is it doesn't move that fast. If the market's going to turn, it typically is going to take a good 6 months to a year before you start seeing things kind of start to level off a little bit. You know, so if you're in and out within a shorter term or shorter time horizon, again, you really aren't subject to so much volatility.
and which a lot of things we're talking about tonight. So whether it's gap lending or hard money, the goal is to be
correct
in and out
within 6 months to a year. You're in and out of that loan, and you got your money back plus your profit.
Exactly. And it's so I'm in and out fairly quickly, but it's also stabilized. So there's security by something that I can ride by. That's my
right. That's right. My money's in there, right there.
I can ride by that right there. Well, we got 2 minutes left. Rob, can you look into that camera? Let folks know how they can get in contact with you, email, so on and so forth. He's all over social media. Believe
Absolutely.
me. But let them know that.
So the easiest way to connect with me is at Robert L. Nichols on Instagram. You can message me there, DM me there. Feel free to engage on my posts with comments. You can also email me at robert@rlncompanies.com. Those are probably the 2 easiest ways to reach me. I prefer IG because I'm on there every day and there's just so much activity happening in my DMs. We're talking business, we're talking deals, we're talking money. And that's really it, guys. And Dexter, thanks for having me on, man. This is really a pleasure.
No, as always, man. Like I said, Robert is a young OG full of, he's a lot of time. Hey, Rob, or I'll text him. Hey, I need a referral. So
I got you covered, man. I took a lot of lumps, guys, in a short amount of time.
So that concludes our show for tonight. I want to thank you guys. You may not know that I released a book. It was a number 1 bestseller on Amazon in the real estate and sales category via Kindle. So thank you guys for supporting.
Yes, sir.
If you have not done it,
I got my copy.
Rob got his copy. So if you have not gotten your copy, you are out of God's will. Go and get it, and then obviously we're in the process of releasing it in a hard copy over the next week or two. So, but thank you guys for your support. And then the summit is April 4th and 5th. I haven't asked Rob. Hopefully he'll be able to speak at that.
Hey, I'm in, man.
All right,
I'm
so
there.
Rob is there.
I'm there.
So Rob
You heard
spoke
it here
the first 2 years. He spoke in there, and so you want to make sure that you're there. Like I said, it's 2 days this time. So somebody said it's a Friday too. Well, take the Friday. You've taken time off to go to the dentist, and take time off to come learn and be wealthy. So April 4th and 5th in Canton. So make sure you're there. Until next month, be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was cool, man.